I've spent most of my life achieving degrees, titles, professional milestones, responsibilities that kept stacking up because I kept saying yes, partly out of dedication and partly I realize now because I didn't know who I was without them. And for a very long time, I believed that achievement would eventually lead to a feeling of arrival. It was like someday I would finally cross this invisible finish line and feel enough, but that finish line never came. And I've spent the last few years trying to understand why. I think most high achieving people are operating on the story they inherited somewhere along the way. And the story goes something like this. You work hard enough, you accomplish enough, you build enough, and eventually you will feel secure, loved, worthy, and even safe. And it's a compelling story and one for a long time. It works. It gets you out of bed in the morning. It pushes you through the hard season. It may even give you a framework for measuring your progress through life. The problem is, it was never really about achievement. It was about what we believed achievement would finally give us. And that thing, that sense of being enough, being safe, being worthy of love and rest and ease, achievement cannot actually deliver it. And that's because it was never achievement's job to deliver it in the first place. So I know that might land as a simple idea, but I want you to sit with it for a moment because most of us have structured our entire lives around the belief or a belief that just isn't true. Let me describe what this pattern feels like from the inside because I want you to recognize it yourself if this is your story too. It could feel like several things. It feels like crossing a finish line and immediately looking for the next one. It feels like being genuinely proud of something for about maybe 48 hours before your brain starts quietly asking, what's next? It feels like difficulty receiving compliments, deflecting them, minimizing them, because somewhere inside you don't quite believe you've earned them yet. It could also feel like rest that doesn't actually restore you because even when your body is still, your mind is already planning, it's problem solving, it's anticipating. It could feel like a subtle but persistent sense that other people have something figured out that you haven't quite yet cracked. And it feels, and this is the part that took me the longest to name, but it feels like loneliness. Because when your worth is tied to performance, genuine connection becomes complicated. And people can love what you do, people can admire what you've built, but do they love you? And the version of you that hasn't accomplished anything today, I think that question can become a quiet terror in a sense. Very scary. I want to share something with you, not because my story is the point of this channel. It isn't, as I've mentioned in the welcome, but because I think transparency matters, especially from someone who sits in the role of therapist and healer. There came a point in my life where almost everything I had built looked one way from the outside and it felt completely different from the inside. I had the credentials, the practice, the identity of someone who had worked hard and made it, so to speak. And at the same time, I was going through things that no amount of professional achievement could protect me from. Divorce, losing a home, reevaluating my career identity I had spent decades constructing, and the particular grief that comes when you realize that the life you carefully planned is not the life you're actually living. And I remember sitting in my own silence at one point, which is not something I had given myself much permission to do. And I can remember thinking, I have helped so many people through transition. I have sat with people in their most disorienting seasons and helped them find solid ground, and asking, why does this feel so hard for me? And the answer, when it finally came, was both humbling and clarifying, because I had spent years managing my nervous system through productivity. Achieving was how I regulated. Staying busy was how I stayed safe. And when the achieving stopped, when life got complicated enough that I couldn't produce my way out of it, I didn't know what to do with the stillness. This is where it becomes important to talk about the nervous system, because I don't think we can fully understand high achieving exhaustion without it. Many of us, especially those who grew up in environments where love felt conditional, where safety required performance, or where uncertainty was a regular feature of daily life, learned very early to use achievement as a regulation strategy. Staying busy kept the anxiety at a manageable distance. Accomplishing things created a temporary sense of control. Being productive gave us a reason to feel okay about ourselves. And the nervous system is nothing if not adaptive. It learned striving equals safety. So it got very, very good at striving. The problem is a nervous system that only knows how to find safety through doing, through producing, through proving, is a nervous system that cannot rest. Even when you desperately want to slow down, something in your body won't allow it. Rest starts to feel dangerous. Stillness starts to feel like failing. And you keep moving, not because you want to, not even because you need to, but because stopping feels like something you can't afford. Does any of that sound familiar? I want to tell you about a specific kind of moment, because I think many of you have had a version of it, even if you haven't named it yet. And it's the moment when you're in the middle of everything you thought you wanted: the career, the responsibilities, the full calendar, the identity that you built. And something very quiet inside you says, this ain't it. It's not loud, it's not dramatic, it's just quiet, persistent. This isn't it. For me, that moment arrived through loss, and sometimes it arrives through illness, or a relationship ending, or a birthday that hits differently than expected, or just a random Tuesday morning when you wake up and the weight of your own life feels heavier than usual, and you can't explain why. However it arrives, I want you to know that moment is not a breakdown. It's not. It's a signal. It's your nervous system, your deeper self, something in you that has been patient for a very long time is finally getting loud enough to be heard. And what it's saying is, it's time to ask a different question. The question I've been sitting with, and I want to invite you to sit with it too, is this. What would my life look like if I built it around peace instead of performance? not comfort, not avoidance, not giving up, just peace, emotional sustainability, a nervous system that has a baseline of safety that doesn't depend on what I produce today. And I'll be honest, I don't have a complete answer yet. I don't. And this video is not where I wrap up everything neatly and give you a 5-step to freedom from the achievement treadmill. Because I don't think healing works that way. I think it works slowly and honestly, and with the willingness to keep asking the questions, even when the answers aren't fully clear yet. And what I can tell you is a few things that I'm beginning to learn. And, I'm beginning to learn that rest is not a reward for finishing. It's a requirement for being human. I'm learning that my value was never actually located in what I produced. It just took a long time and a season of losing things to start believing that. And that the versions of success worth building are the ones that leave room for relationships, for presence, for laughter, and for mornings that don't begin in urgency. And that it is never, never too late to reorient your life around what actually matters. If you've been measuring your life by achievement, if you've been waiting to feel like enough until you reach the next thing, then I want to say something to you directly. You are already enough. And it's not because you haven't achieved things. You probably have achieved remarkable things. But it's because worth was never meant to be earned. It was already yours and mine. And I'm going to keep exploring this on this channel. The nervous system, the patterns that we inherit, the grief of lives that don't go as planned, and the quiet, patient possibility of building something different. And before I close today, I want to leave you with something that to sit with. It's not a homework assignment, although the educator in me said, girl, this sounds like a homework assignment. But it's not. It's just a question. And I'd love for you to reflect on it if you feel comfortable and to share your answer in the comments below. And here it is. When was the last time that you genuinely felt enough? Not because of something that you accomplished, but just because you exist. And I want you to take a moment with that. And maybe the answer comes quickly, or maybe it comes or doesn't come at all. And that can tell us a lot in itself, some important stuff. Either way, I'd love to hear from you. So drop me a line in the reflection below. And if you want to take this topic a little deeper this week, I left a 5-minute exercise in the description section. So before I sign off, if you know someone who needed to hear this today, or someone who's been running hard for a very long time, then please share this with them. And for now, I'm just glad that you're here, and I look forward to continuing exploring possibilities for the heart and mind together.